Hey everyone! Welcome to my channel, Tech in Resham. In this video, we're going to talk about Proxmox Backup Server, a super cool tool that helps you back up your containers and virtual machines running on your Proxmox Virtual Server. Backup isn't just about keeping your data safe, like your documents and pictures, it's also super important for protecting your containers and virtual machines. Imagine losing access to your containers or virtual machines because of a hardware failure or something bigger with your Proxmox Virtual Server host. How would you get them back? Rebuilding entire containers and virtual machines from scratch would be a total pain. The company that makes Proxmox Virtual Environment also makes Proxmox Backup Server. It's a good idea to install it on a separate machine, preferably with a couple of hard drives, preferably SSDs for faster backup and recovery. These storage drives should be set up in RAID to make sure they're always working. This way, even if one storage drive in RAIDs or two drives in RAIDs 2 fails, the backup server will still be okay. Head over to the Proxmox official website, https://www.proxmox.com/en, and grab the Proxmox Backup Server ISO file. You've got two choices. Run it as a virtual machine within the existing Proxmox virtual environment or on a dedicated bare metal machine. A dedicated machine is the way to go, as it won't mess with the virtualization if it fails, and you can recover from Proxmox Backup Server storage. While it's possible to use a virtual machine, it's not as convenient as having a dedicated machine. But hey, for a home lab or even a small business, having separate servers can be pricey, and a virtual machine might be a temporary solution. It's not as bad as it sounds. We can still perform backups on containers and virtual machines. In the demo, we'll set up a virtual machine for Proxmox Backup Server. The most important thing is to have two storage drives, one small for the Proxmox Backup Server OS installation and another larger for backup files of containers and virtual machines. The more RAM and CPU cores you have, the faster the Proxmox Backup Server will be. Once the Proxmox Backup Server is up and running, follow the installation steps as you would for Proxmox Virtual Environment. It's a good idea to format the boot OS drive as ZFS, not mandatory, but it's a better file system. After the installation is complete, the Proxmox Backup Server console will show you a URL. Copy it and paste it into your preferred browser. The username is root, and the password is the one you set during installation. Here are some initial tasks. First, remove the subscription and enterprise repositories unless you've bought the enterprise license. Next, reload the packages and update the Proxmox Backup Server. Finally, reboot the server to make sure the kernel is also up to date. In the administration section, go to Storage and select your backup storage. Mark it as a ZFS file system and create a new data store. A data store is like a folder where snapshots of containers and virtual machines backups live. After that, create a user named admin to give this data store permission. Now, let's get back to Proxmox Virtual Environment and go to Storage. Add Proxmox Backup Server and fill in the form. You'll need to enter the following information. Server, IP address of the Proxmox Backup Server. Username, admin@pbs. Password, backup server password. Data store, the one you created in the backup server data store. Fingerprint, you can find this in the Proxmox Backup Server dashboard. I tested a virtual machine, VM, for backup, and we can see its instance in the Proxmox Backup Server. To create a scheduled backup on Proxmox Virtual Environment, go to Data Center, then select Create Backup Job. Choose the schedule and select the containers and virtual machines you want to auto-backup to the Proxmox Backup Server. In the Proxmox Backup Server, set up a rule to keep old backup files. You can specify how long to keep them, like days, weeks, months, or even years. This rule will mark the files for deletion by the garbage collector. Don't worry, this doesn't delete the files right away, it just marks them for removal. To actually delete the files, press Clean Garbage Collection. Now, go back to the Proxmox Virtual Environment and select the backup list you want to restore. You can easily restore any backup snapshot you took. Thanks for watching the video. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or want to learn more, feel free to leave a comment. Thanks a bunch.